What is going on, YouTube? Christopher Robin here, coming back at you with another one. All right, so today we are going to be talking about how much did this place cost me out of my own pocket. So we're going to be covering, of course, the house, how much the house cost, how much the sunken greenhouse cost, the chicken coop over here, the garden, this trout pond, and of course, the big ticket item, the big solar generation power station. All right, stay tuned. I think you may be pleasantly surprised on how much these things really cost. All right, let's dive into this. If you're enjoying the video, give me a thumbs up. It really helps me out as a small creator. And, you know, I'm not gonna ask you to subscribe, that's your own decision. And hopefully with due time, I'll earn your subscription through my hard work and maybe a little bit of information that I get to share with you. So I'm not gonna keep you too long. Let's enjoy the video. Thank you. So let's take a stroll over here to the garden. As you can see, it's just a garden. Not too much really special about it. The raised beds, I had purchased all the material. It's all rough cut lumber. As you can see, some onions popping up. Got some garlic over here, but we're not diving into the garden. I'm just gonna tell you how much this garden cost me to build. I did almost. Look at that. Do you guys see that bluebird just landed right there? How beautiful is that? That is so cool. Peace. Guess we were a little too close for comfort, but in total, the garden was about $500 for the lumber, for some of these 6x6 beams, these archways. The wheels were, I forget. Oh no, they were actually here on the property when I had purchased it. Get out of here. Psst. Gotta kick. Psst. Psst. Gracie, Grace, come on. I don't like the cats being in the garden because they like to take their big old cat dumps in here, so try and keep them out. But the animals love me and they want to hang out. So the garden was mostly just labor intensive. All the dirt, I had traded my neighbor for, he let me borrow his tractor and we kind of swapped, okay? I helped him out. He was going through some rough times. I helped him out and he had let me borrow his tractor and also hooked me up with some dirt. So in terms of raw money, $500 for the garden, for all the materials. This isn't treated lumber or anything special. All the trellises are all, you know, handmade. The cucumber trellis, the bean trellis, this little fenced in area, that's just old poplar and sticks, guys. And I know that that isn't gonna last long, but I had this chocolate lab that I once planted, oh my goodness, planted my garden and then he pretty much unplanted it. But so the cost on the garden, $500. The chicken coop over here, this is almost, oh man, almost fully done out of repurposed material, okay? From these supports up top to the tin, to the door. The only thing that I bought that was new was this little section of lumber here. And that, I want to say, was maybe about $120 just for the lumber. Now there's going to be a lot of hardware, screws, nails, and my time. But I don't include my time on the cost of anything, okay? I know time is money, but it was more or less just me building it at my own pace. So, chicken coop, kind of walk through. I'm going to show you guys some of this stuff. What's up, boys? What's up, chickies? They're hanging out. We're going to have to do a revamp on it because the chickens ate all the styrofoam. But as you can tell, all these are treated posts. All of them. It's all recycled lumber. These are solar lights. I did buy these new, but I bought those from a place called Uncle Wiener's for I think about $200 a piece. They've worked great. They're selectable, so you can either have white light or yellow light. Gives you a cool little percentage on how much of the batteries are remaining. We're at $100. What up? So, styrofoam up top. I had purchased a bee business out here. All the styrofoam was leftover styrofoam that was with that original purchase. Things like these springs were all, came from the thrift store, from an old workout machine. All this liner, that was all from the bee business that I had purchased. So I want to say in total that with the cost of the building materials, the screws, the tin I got all for free, the land that I had purchased, there was all kinds of this galvanized sheeting up here. Or galvanized tin, whatever you want to call it. It was just all stacked up. I also built the root cellar out of the same material. So the chicken coop, I know it needs a revamp, but $1,000 for the chicken coop. $1,000. The lean-to on the side of the chicken coop, also from repurposed materials. My hombre Chris, my best friend out here, I met years ago. This was around his hot tub. It's just some old cedar, I think it's like cedar, kind of like an old, for a, I think privacy fence or something. Free, he gave it to me for free. All right, I did buy some new 2x4s here for these trusses or the roof supports, whatever you want to call it. I guess we blew out the back piece of cedar on here, so I think I'm just gonna, anyways, we won't get into what I want to do. We're just gonna go over the raw costs. $1,000 guys for the chicken coop. The bird mesh or chicken wire I did buy from PV Mart. You can usually buy a 4-foot by 50-foot roll, $40. All right, $40 for that. The chicken tractor, in total, I did buy some expensive hardware for that. This hardware cloth I did buy, the chicken wire again. Repurposed more of that tin here that I was telling you about. But we did end up buying some hardware, some casters that I still have to put on, some zip ties. Chicken tractor was relatively pretty cheap, $350. You'd say, how much, why did you spend so much on it? It's just, I bought some of the feeders, the hardware, and the casters. it actually took a surprisingly quite a bit of the chicken mesh. Hey, Cashy boy. The chicken wire. And I didn't get those things on sale, unfortunately. This is a huge problem. Here, you can see, look, gross. Guys, look, ticks. Terrible here in this province. The trout pond here, it's starting to rain out here, so I apologize about that. The trout pond was an expensive project. It was I guess we'll start with the liner. The liner was $3,500. It's an industrial roof liner, and I needed quite a bit of it because the pond is 30 feet long by 18 feet wide by 10 feet deep with a 2-foot shelf around it. So with the shelf, it took quite a bit more liner than you would think because it has to go down the sides, down, flatten out again, and then dip all the way down to 10 feet. $3,500 for the liner, for the glue, the sealant. I think it's like some type of primer or something. You got to put it on the rubber when you're gluing it. Those were $100. The dock is actually just, it's old pallet racking, okay, that I worked for a dog food plant, and they were just giving it away. So I just put it on its side. The deck boards were, they were $200 just for this amount of treated deck boards. Now the stone, there is a lot of stone here. The stone I had to buy from a local company, $700 per load. I had a younger man come over. He actually had his own backhoe. I was paying him $70 an hour. He came over in the evenings. He dug the whole pond out for $800. And I thought that was cheap. And not only that, he moved the dirt over to that massive dirt mound, which we're gonna have to do something with. If you want to include the pump was a pretty expensive pump. It's like some type of special magnetic drive that has no oil just in case it blows up. There isn't a bunch of oil that seeps into the pond and kills your trout, okay? So the pump itself was $500. Well worth the money. It flows a lot of water, especially when I get the river system up and going. That was just the cost on just the pond. The river system was another expense. It's not fully done yet as I have to clay pack it and kind of finish that up. Ongoing project, of course, but we have to clay pack this. This is a cheaper liner that I purchased from Home Depot. The rolls were $100 and I bought 2 rolls, total $200 plus tax, I guess. Now, the solar system I had purchased used, okay? It cost me $48,000 cash. And now you're gonna say, oh, wow, that's way too much money, Chris. But at the time, I had no power, I had no water, and this baby came set up. Oh, look at this. No way. I'm not sure. But there may be a swarm in there, guys. Oh, I think we got a swarm. I think there's a swarm of bees in here. I just put my ear to the box, and by the sounds of it, there is a lot of bees in there. You see how they're just not instantly flying away? Who knows? We're gonna dive into it. It's not a huge deal, but could be a swarm of bees in there. This is some of the bee gear that I bought from that business. The solar system was They listed it for 50K cash. I gave them, I believe, 48,000. I want to say let's say 50K. They delivered it. A lot of people would say, oh man, that's really expensive. I didn't feel that that was expensive at all for powering my off-grid homestead. Like if you go buy a new seed can, they're like 10K now. And this thing actually fully folds on top of the center hinge in the center, acts like a big piano hinge, and all the solar panels actually roll on top of there and they set down, okay? This thing is fully mobile. And the solar system is quite amazing because it also has, I won't show you too much, but I want to show you why it costs 50K. So light switches, I have a freezer hooked up here. This was designed by a very skilled electrical engineer, okay? It has 1,100 liters of fuel here, diesel fuel. You can see you fill it from the back side. You open it up, you can fill this puppy from the outside. Has a nice sight glass over here so you can tell we're about here, right about here on fuel, so you know exactly how many liters you have in there. I know that there's about 400 liters of diesel fuel in there right now, okay? Now this is a Kubota Lowboy 10 kilowatt diesel generator. These are about $10,000 now, guys. 4 years ago when I bought this C-Can, they were cheaper, but now they are going like through the roof with costs, okay? So there's the air intake system there, the exhaust. It's actually, he did an amazing job on this. The exhaust preheats the air intake, so here in Saskatchewan it gets like -40, guys. It is colder than a witch's tit in this province in the winter. So we need to preheat the air intake for the generator here. So the exhaust shoots up through and it also goes out the wall. The exhaust goes out the wall. Those are the fuel lines. This baby is fully automated. When there isn't enough sun, boom, it just turns on, charges these batteries up. We're gonna go in there. It's kind of a mess in here. But we have, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16 gel batteries. You don't have to service them. He said that this system should be good for at least 25 years. This system should be good for. It has 2 midnight charge controllers, has its own breaker box system. This thing is just a full plug and play unit. It's got a nice insulated room in here. We have a heat bulb. Of course, we don't need it in the summertime. I just haven't changed it out. We have some extra heat bulbs up here. This baby is heated in the wintertime, keeping the batteries warmer than the outside temperature. All right, 50K. I think I gave him 48. But we're gonna call it 50, all right? 50K for this. That was a lot of money. And you'd say, well, you know, I don't really just have 50K laying around. This is my life. This is just how much these things cost me. The root cellar over here, Benny the neighbor let me borrow his tractor. You can kind of see, go down in there, go underground 10 feet. It's pretty sick. Would I change it? Absolutely. I'd like to have the root cellar actually kind of attached to the house. I think we're gonna build another one, but the root cellar in general was under $500 for me to build. Lag bolts and almost all the lumber that I have in the root cellar. Oh man, see that? Another tick. Gross, guys. Cash, let me get it. Let me get it. There. Man. I hate these things, but I usually spend about half an hour a day pulling anywhere from 5 to 30 ticks off my dog every day. Whole different thing, but pretty gross, I know. Barbed wire fence. The fence alone, just the posts and the barbed wire, they were in total. Of course, I do have a bunch of extra posts and some extra barbed wire because I'm gonna fence off the full 20 acres. Was $4,000. Now posts out here in Saskatchewan were just over, I think I was paying $8.99 for a 3 to 4 inch treated post. They're getting stupid expensive. I cleaned out all the bush line with a friend of mine, Clint. I traded him for my physical labor. He came over with his tractor and we removed the trees and made the cut lines ourselves. I didn't have to subcontract that out. I try and swap as much or trade as much as I can. I'd like to try and keep my money. And if I can do something for somebody, whether it's for Clint, the last 2 weekends, we branded all his cattle. We sorted all his cattle, we vaccinated, we castrated the bulls or the young ones, ear tags, earbuds, and of course we branded them all. Not the cows, but just the calves. That was 2 weekends, so you know, each day maybe we worked for 9 hours or whatever, but he came over, he did the tree clearing in under 10 hours with a big 160 horsepower diesel tractor. That saved me huge. So Clint, if you're watching this, thank you, bro. I couldn't have done it without you. Now the big ticket items. How much did my raw land cost? The original 10-acre parcel I'd purchased for $50K. I'm gonna include a picture of what the little shack looked like. It certainly didn't look like this, guys. I'm gonna throw up a picture and show you how it all started. And there was some sacrifice there, right? There was a lot of time that I really struggled out here, and I had to put myself into an uncomfortable position for a short season of my life to be able to get this to work, okay? And that's okay. That, you know, I don't have a wife, I don't have a girlfriend. I just have my dog Zeus. Unfortunately, he's gone now, but we got Cash and he is dope. He is by far, he's a bundle of joy, and he makes my soul smile, and he's just a pleasure to have out here. So $50K is what I found this raw land for sale online. I was living in Ontario at my first farm, or my first house I had ever purchased. And I had purchased this land sight unseen. And I don't know if you guys know much about when you see a deal, you don't wait on it, right? Because somebody else is gonna nab that deal just like that. You have to grow a set of balls and you have to make a decision right at that time. Do I wanna buy that land or do I not wanna buy that land? And for me, I pulled the pin. The lady that purchased my first homestead, well, it's not a homestead, it was just a small 50-acre farm. She gave me a month to get my tutti frutti, or my ass, out of that place. And she gave me 24 hours to decide, to sign the paperwork. And I said, yeah, let's do it, you know, full throttle, let's go. And yeah, like that was nuts, man. It's now a 20-acre parcel here. So I ended up asking her, hey, Pauline, you know, batted my eyes a bit, made sure I had a nice shirt on. No, I'm just kidding. I just asked her, I said straight up, Pauline, how would you feel about selling me an additional 10 acres? And she said, absolutely. The additional 10 acres cost me, she charged me $1,500 an acre, and then there was some lawyer fees, and she had paid for the surveyors to come out and survey the land, to put the property pegs in, so we kind of knew where everything was. It was $20,000 for the additional 10 acres of land, which I felt was okay. I was cool with that, right? Now, so the raw land, if you were to just talk about the 20 acres and the home, $70K. 68 or 70K. And then of course I had to build a deck. I had to get the log siding, the cedar up top. I had to put all the fascia on, eave system. The grand total for this whole homestead build, I want to say just north of $200,000 total. 20 acres, fully off-grid, 2 wells. Oh, I almost forgot. The well. The well was a big expense. Well, it would have been a big expense. But you know, God really hooked me up again. And you know, I don't expect anybody else probably to get these type of deals. It's all because of God. That's who I worship. That's who I focus on, okay? All the glory goes to him. So, you know, if you're thinking about why you don't get any deals or anything like that, shout out a little prayer, man. I'm telling you, it works. It truly does work. But underneath here, I know you wouldn't think so, but there's a 36-inch fiberglass well casing that goes into the earth here, 20 feet. And then there's a water line that goes 8 feet all the way to the house. Now, this would be a pretty expensive job. Absolutely it would. But I had ended up volunteering on a friend's farm, dairy operation, and magically he had a massive excavator, a cat excavator. And I had volunteered with him for quite a few, I don't know, maybe three months or so, showing up there, fixing things for him, welding. It was great. And he had offered to me to come over here and put a well in for me. And we did it together. It was a teamwork. I had another gentleman come over named Ed Martins. You watching this? What's up? He came over, did some water witching for me, and he said, Chris, you have some good water here. So I used a postal logger with some extensions. We found water about 16, 17 feet. I'd called Peter and I said, Peter, we got water here at 16 feet. He actually paid for the excavator to come here, drop it off, and pick back up. Now, I know, right? Like, kooky. Who gets this kind of, it's not luck. You may think it's luck. I don't believe in luck, personally. I believe what you get what you put in, right? So, Peter, if you're watching this, God bless your heart. You're an amazing, hardworking man. I owe my water to you. But He paid $2,000 to bring his excavator over here, and we put a well in. Now normally that would, I don't even know what that might cost to get a well put in. I've never put in a well or had somebody drill or kind of tap into a water source, right? It was probably 3 months of my labor. I didn't collect any money from him. He fed me every day at lunchtime. It was we exchanged, it was great. I did some work for him. He came over here. We put the well in 3 evenings. Buried the water line, put in the yard hydrant for the chicken coop. What you got? What you got? Loves his ball. You almost think he's a retriever. All right, let me see it. Come here. Come here. Let me see it. All right, he doesn't want to play right now. He just wants to show off. We traded, we bartered. They had different skill sets than I did, and I had different skill sets than they had. And raw dollars for the land, 20 acres now, and the small cabin that was here, 70 grand cash. Solar system, $50,000 cash. The garden, we're just gonna say a rough figure for the garden, $1,500 for the whole shebang, including the solar lights, the chicken tractor, $350. All right, so we got $350 here. We got $1,500 here. We have, for the solar system, $50K for that, fully done. Instant plug and play, you just literally over here. So the solar system was 50 grand. I had to hire an electrician to come over here. This big black tech cable that goes from there underneath the ground. It goes 2 feet underneath the ground, and it actually plugs into that silver box over attached to the solar system, 2 feet down. And I buried that line when Peter was here with his excavator. It took him all of half an hour to bury that line, backfill it. All right, so let's go take a look at the house here. There's quite a bit of costs in here. Now, I won't be able to tell you exactly how much all this stuff cost off the top of my head. Most of it, like the tile, the countertops, purchased most of the stuff brand new from the Home Depot, right? So yeah, let's just kind of go through, take a look. We got some chicks over here. They're hatched out. They just hatched out yesterday. On a side note, so the sunken greenhouse over here, the big expense was the polycarbonate. All right, the polycarbonate I had to get ordered out of Calgary. It's an 8mm dual wall polycarbonate, UV grade or something. I don't know exactly. The sun doesn't damage it, I guess what I'm trying to tell you. This came out of a company from Calgary. So it came with the 4x8 sheets, the H joiners, the J joiners, and that was pretty much it. The polycarbonate was expensive. It was $3,500 plus the lumber. The sunken greenhouse in total, the bill for that, $7K. Fasteners, lumber, most of the windows are reused windows, okay? The deck was $1,000, if you can imagine, just for the treated lumber and the supports. This is the mess, guys, and it's actually kind of embarrassing, but I want to show you exactly what's up, how I'm living, and how far I've come, all right? This isn't where, like the greenhouse right now, it's not always gonna be this way, right? It's just how it is when I'm making this video. I'm still gonna hustle, and I'm still gonna make this place into the dopest sunken greenhouse here on the internet. There won't be another one like it. Sunken greenhouse, geothermal earth battery. We're gonna run some more weeping tile out, and this baby is gonna be, it's gonna be special. Look at this. Saskatchewan, we're growing oranges. You see this? They're all flowering. We got oranges here. Look at, boom. Key limes. What's up? Right? We got lemon trees. We got grapefruit trees. We are going to be building something that nobody else has. They may have a greenhouse that has some citrus, but they don't have a sunken greenhouse with a geothermal earth battery attached to their house that passively heats their house, right? It's pretty dope. $7K. That's what that cost. I had a neighbor come over. He helped me. I helped him. He had a little Kubota diesel tractor. Dave, if you're watching this, man, I appreciate you as a neighbor, and I appreciate everything that you've done for me. I'm giving you a shout out because you made the sunken greenhouse happen. All right? All right. He dug it into the earth, and I had built it. There's a lot of different things. There's a lot of different variables. A lot of people they've helped me out to get to where I am. All right. Now, I know those are some big numbers for a lot of different people, right? Like, but I funded all this by selling my original farm, my original 50-acre farm. I purchased that farm, and I put a lot of time, like blood, sweat, and tears into that place. And it wasn't much at all, guys. Like, it was also a fixer-upper, right? But we put some time in, we put some effort in, and I showed up every day for myself. Because I knew that if I didn't put the work in, nobody else was gonna put that work in for me, right? Like, you need to understand that I always had to have a job, and then I usually had to have a side hustle, either fixing vehicles, flipping vehicles, snowmobiles, ATVs. I always bought low and I sold high. And that's a skill. If you're thinking about doing this, or you need to work your ass off. There's no, like, you might get a couple people that luck into it or whatever, but I have a very successful uncle. And he said that you always, in your life, you will have to work. Whether you do it when you're young or when you're old, you will have to put in the hard work. You're gonna have to bust your butt off, guys. While everybody else is going out to frickin' Chili's with the boys, going to Chili's, you're staying home and you're drinking water, and you're having, like, that's why I hunt. I eat a lot of meat, and my diet's a very simple diet. The wintertime, I don't eat a lot of vegetables unless I get some canned ones from my mom, or I still have some in the root cellar, potatoes, beets, whatever it may be. You have to hunker down, right? You got to go into like monk mode. And nobody else is going to do that for you. Everybody else is trying to do their own life, trying to hustle their own lives, right? This place has cost me $200,000. I even pulled out some money from my investments to invest here, just so I could get to this step. And now that I'm here, I virtually have no bills. I have to pay my land tax and, you know, of course, car insurance, fuel for the car, a little bit of fuel for the diesel generator. But that sacrifice of me coughing all this, I could have bought another house and been tied to the grid. But that wasn't for me, boys. You know, I wanted to wake up on my own time. I wanted to go to bed on my own time. I didn't want to have to go back to 9 to 5. I'm not saying that I won't go back to 9 to 5 for a short season. Maybe I'll be working at a farm. Who knows? But I don't have a mortgage anymore. I don't have an electrical bill. I don't have a water bill. I'm making it work day by day. And I just pretty much think about that every day, how grateful I am that I get to live a life like this, right? And I hear a lot of flack of how the cost of everything is going through the roof, and that is true. Things are getting expensive, but also people are spending like retarded amounts of money. Like, look, guys, I have a Toyota Yaris. It's a piece of junk. It's a shitty car, man. But I don't want to go into debt just to drive a fancy car. I think that's absolutely stupid. 5 to 7 years? Yeah. No, thank you. Keep the nice car. I'll drive that piece of junk into the ground. And I don't care what people think, bro. Bro, it doesn't matter. People are gonna judge you no matter what. Whether you're driving an old rusty car or you're living in a hut in the woods with no power and no running water, right? People, let them judge. But if you have a dream and you want it, you got to go get it. You only have one life and one opportunity at this, boys. I'm telling you that. Put the hard work in. Wake up. Show up for yourself every day, right? Show up for yourself. And show up for your friends. Show up for your family. If you're thinking about maybe you want to buy some land or a house, humble yourself and take as much help as you can get. If you have to live at home to save money, absolutely do it. If you have to drive an old crappy car to save money, do it. This modern world of, this fake, it's so fake out here, The media portrays all these, what you should have and what you shouldn't have. Yeah, I do have some nice stuff, absolutely. But I'm 40 now, you understand? 40 years of age. And I became debt and mortgage free in my 30s, my late 30s. So I think at the end of the day is that you can't compare my life to your life, all right? You can't compare my success to your success because we're all different and all of our paths are different, It doesn't matter where you are in your life. You can change it. I'm telling you that. If you're unhappy with whether it's how you look, how you feel, what you're eating, maybe you're overweight. Bro, I've been overweight. I've been addicted to alcohol. Actually, we're not even going to get into some of that stuff, all right? We're just going to talk about the raw numbers. This place here, it's amazing. I thank the Lord every day for this opportunity. And I'm certainly not going to waste my life, and neither should you. You want something, wake up early, go to bed early, wake up early, and go get it, all right? Go get what you want in your life, because not too many people, some people are lucky they get an inheritance or something like that, big money, they don't have to work. But I'm telling you, show up for yourself, show up for your neighbors, and show up for your family. You do that, and good things are going to come your way, I promise you. You work hard, you hustle it, and you're smart, you're responsible. You know, stay away from alcohol, stay away from weed. Those are things that I've struggled with myself. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm trying to develop something here, a community of friends and people maybe going through the same shit or the same stuff as that I went through. And I wanna be open and honest with you guys about my life and the struggles that I've had, because I wanna maybe hopefully inspire, if it's just one person to get off their butt and maybe pick up a shovel, plant a garden. Maybe they want to get some chickens. Like, bro, let's do this. You're in the place for inspiration, because I've been there. I've not had a house, driven crappy cars. I've been in debt. And you can get out of all these things if you just believe in yourself. I'm telling you that. Hang around people that are inspirational, right? If you're gonna chase money, hang around people that have money. If you wanna become a better hockey player, hang out with better hockey players, right? You don't wanna hang out with crappy hockey players because you're not gonna learn anything from them, right? You're not gonna learn anything from people that don't possess better skills than yourself. You know, all this landscaping and stuff is just stuff that I learned when I was, you know, early 20s, teenager, out doing, say, landscaping jobs, or, you know, it's a life full of skills that I've developed in my lifetime. All right? So, you know, you'd say, well, Chris, we can't find land prices at $50,000 where I live. Well, you know what? I had to move across Canada in the middle of winter, pack my shit up, pack my life up, move into a house that had just had a wood stove. I couldn't even buy wood. I had to go out in 3 feet of snow, cut down trees so I could heat the house. All right? Yeah, you might not be able to find those land prices where you're currently living. But there's some sacrifice there that you have, like, if you want it, you may have to sacrifice your location to up your life. If you want to level up, you have to step up, right? You just can't, if you're going to say, oh no, I don't believe that, it's just too expensive, it's out of my way of my budget, right? Maybe it's a job. Maybe you're like, no good work around here. Well, you know what? Sometimes you gotta uproot and you gotta go somewhere, bro. You just can't hang around and hope that something happens. You gotta take action. You have to take action. I had to move across Canada in the middle of winter to come to here. I'm gonna throw up a picture here, guys, and you're gonna see how I lived. It's crazy. I had a dog here too. Thank the Lord about him, because, you know, kind of a longer video than I expected. If you're new here, welcome. Welcome to my off-grid adventure. If you're a returning viewer, thank you. I'd encourage everybody to maybe smash the thumbs up, bro. Give me a thumbs up. I really try a lot. Like, I'm trying my hardest right now. Yeah, my channel's small. Totally is. I ended up getting 1,000 subscribers in just under 6 months. Now, you wouldn't think that's a lot, and it's not a lot. You see, a lot of these people have millions of subscribers, right? But you see, I'm taking the initiative to start something, right? I don't look at the channel and say, man, this isn't growing fast enough for... I stick with it. I show up here for my farm, and I'm gonna show up for you guys here on the channel. I'm gonna try and put out the best quality content that I can for you guys, my subscribers. I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you guys are thinking about buying some land, step out of the comfort zone, all right? Maybe you gotta go somewhere. Maybe you gotta go to Alberta. Maybe you gotta go to Newfoundland. Maybe you're living in the States. I don't know, bro. I don't know where you are or what's going on. This is literally just me talking to my camera. But I encourage you, step it up, show up for yourself, and you're gonna get this done. All right, guys, till the next one, peace.